I keep my pace slow and steady. Got something to tell you. Not too sure if you're ready. You make it hard for me not to keep my breathing heavy. Breathing heavy. I keep my pace slow and steady. Got something to tell you. Not sure if you are ready. You make it hard for me not to keep my breathing heavy.
There we go. Okay, let me know. Is this one better? One. trying that out, and it has light, so you'll be able to see what I'm cutting and the food a little easier. But it also has a mic on it, so apparently it just confused my system. So I apologize. False start. Ready, go, take 2. I really do want to see Cyberpunk. That looks awesome. But I got distracted. My friends talked me into downloading Rocket League today. So that downloaded just before I started. And then they also talked me into downloading Call of Duty Warzone. Hi, Medius. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. We got lots today. Lots coming up. Since I don't have much by way of holiday decorations, I wear my reindeer antlers. They don't actually make noise. I'm sad. I wish these were real bells. Maybe someday. So we're trying to get in the holiday spirit with some Mexican food. But yeah, well, OBS was having some issues. I washed all the fruit. I washed all the veggies because I figure you guys don't really care about that. Thanks, Bone. I appreciate the lurk. Hopefully, whatever you defrosted is delicious. And if not, I'll give you some great ideas. This is my 3rd cooking stream now. So the first one was spaghetti, and it's just your jar spaghetti sauce with pre-made pasta and ways to like have spices to make it taste a little better. And you just kind of like rough it up. What did I do for you guys last week? Oh, I did creamy Italian chicken over rice, which was like, what, 3 ingredients? It's canned soup, like cream of chicken or cream of mushroom with a lot of cream cheese. My music's really loud. I'm fixing it. I'm trying out this Twitch music beta thing. So it's supposed to be just playlists of music that is there. I just want some chill music. It's supposed to be a playlist of music that is free to use. So hopefully it goes well. We're seeing how it goes. New things. But yeah, it's Italian chicken. So it's just baked chicken with cream cheese, a can of soup, and a package of Italian seasoning. So that was delicious. Today we're doing quesadillas, which is super simple. It's some kind of butter or oil with tortillas and cheese. You can add whatever else you want. So I figure we'll kind of like zhuzh it up. So we're doing homemade guac and pico de gallo. It's not lazy cooking to do all of this at once. I don't recommend that. But I do recommend doing like one or the other. Thanks, kids. It's for you. Well, it's for everybody. But yeah. Hopefully they stay on. They're a little loose, but we'll make it work. So yeah, I figure we'll probably start with the guacamole. I like that to sit a little bit longer so that the spices can really like so the spices can really kind of adhere into the guac. Then I'll do the pico and we'll finish with the quesadillas because the quesadillas are the quickest. There are a bunch of different ways to do salsa and to do guac. We'll kind of go over all that. But it's gonna be delicious. Oh, that's right, Omedius, you're the food science. Yeah, that's right. You'll be able to kind of talk about a little bit more of behind the scenes. Why these things go together. Like, I kind of know, but it's not, I don't know the actual things. So yeah. I don't know. I do a lot of acidity in my guac because I'm actually allergic to tomatoes, so I have to cut those way back. So I put a lot of lime or lemon, fresh limes, always. Please, if possible, do fresh. But we are going to do the pico. I'm doing double batches because I'm going to send some to my family. Gillette's here. What up, Gillette? Yeah, so Gillette and Ken's talked me into downloading Call of Duty. I apologize for that coming stream. It's going to be real special. can't think of any other way to put it. It's just gonna be real special. Me trying to play Call of Duty. But that's what they want. That's what they're gonna get. Yes, the lime helps with the browning, and then with tomatoes, like I can't eat raw tomatoes, but I can eat salsa because the acidity of the lime actually cooks the tomato a little. Cash on me! Look at all these people hanging out. I feel so popular. But we'll get into all of that as we keep going. I'm enjoying these cooking streams, even though they take a little more forethought and prep. It's not like, hey, let's roll out of bed and get on a game. But next week I'm thinking of doing Alfredo, because Alfredo is actually really easy to do. It's pretty cheap to make and it's delicious. It's gonna be weird though, because I'm starting my diet. I'm trying to at least. So, instead of whole milk, we have oat milk. So we'll see how that goes. I've never used it for cooking. And instead of normal cheese, we're trying vegan cheese. I heard it's not so bad, but technically I'm not supposed to have lactose and I'm not supposed to have gluten. So we're gonna try it and see what happens. So next week will be funny because it could go amazingly well and it could be horrible. Absolutely horrible. Denature the proteins. Yeah. I mean, I'll still get a little bit of anaphylaxis with tomatoes and pico. When it's fully blended with salsa, it's not as bad. And then obviously cooked for like marinara, it's much better for me. So yeah, if it was really bad, people wouldn't even eat it. It wouldn't exist. So it's probably fine. I'm just nervous. Like, I love cheese, but my body doesn't love cheese. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna see what happens. And then, since the following week is Christmas, where'd I put it? Oh, I made a mess. For the following week, so Christmas week, we're doing desserts. I found some Godiva stuff. So we have chocolate tort. We have brownie cheesecake. And lava cake. I'm so excited. It's gonna be hard waiting 2 weeks to try these. So I've never made these kits before. We're gonna see how easy they are and hopefully have some delicious desserts for Christmas. Otherwise, my family can watch me completely fail at making them and understand why I'm not bringing anything over for Christmas Day. So we'll see. At least for now, we're gonna have some delicious guacamole, which I have made before. The salsa, I've made versions before. I tried to find a really simple recipe for you guys. And, oh yeah, we're chopping a lot of onions, so I'll probably cry on stream. Don't judge me. If you clip it, I completely understand. That's fine. Actually, if you find some really embarrassing things I do, clip them and I will share them around just because it amuses me. And why is there a feather floating around? That's random. But anyway, I'm hungry. I want to make you guys hungry. So let's get cooking. So I'll switch over. Everything should be working. Tested it earlier. See, that's why I like cooking though, because it mixes science and art. And I'm a dual brain person. Like, I enjoy logic, but I enjoy creativity. see. Oh, I wonder if I need to adjust it here. Oh, yeah, that's what I need to do. So I was adjusting the music in Streamlabs, and that's why it was being kind of a pain. I need to adjust it on the actual player. There. Okay, is that a little better? You can hear me over the music? Because it was looking like it was competing quite a bit. Yeah, so we have our setup. You can see my unmanicured hands. Oh man, where's if and when I need them? Hands do look really weird on cam. Oh, that's so weird. Oh, too funny. Okay, so I really like Food Network for recipes if you're just looking for something. They can get really simple and really complicated. There's a pretty good array. People will try them, they'll rate them based on how well they did. And a lot of times, like if you go with BuzzFeed, their recipes tend to be horrible. Eventually we'll get into doing some BuzzFeed recipes, which a lot of times are just completely whack. They're missing at least like 1 or 2 or 3 ingredients to make them actually work. But they know what works to get the views. So if you're actually looking for recipes, I mean, I have Pinterest, I do a lot on there, but Food Network's a really easy, safe go-to. I have 2 cutting boards just in case I don't want to cross-contaminate anything. Big old bowl, like giant bowl. You can see how huge this thing is. This is a big old bowl because I'm doing 6 avocados. So this is a huge batch of guacamole. These you don't really have to rinse because you're taking all that away. Oh yeah. So that's why I had the 2 cutting boards. Okay. So since I didn't rinse like these, the onion, the limes, that stuff, I'm gonna use my smaller cutting board. And then for the stuff that I did rinse, I'm going to use my other cutting board, just that way I don't accidentally put some dirt in my meals. Since I'm sharing, hands are washed as always. Wash your hands, rinse everything, hot water, lots of soap. You know. Yeah, Tasty is another one. BuzzFeed Foods, Tasty, like a lot of those are actually only for the views and they don't work. I've gone into the YouTube hole of watching people who try to make those foods and go into the food science of why they don't work. And it's really fun. Let's see, so I have a whole array of knives for this. I'm probably just gonna use like my big chopping knife. This is a nice vegetable knife. It'll do most things. Most of the time. You probably see things like this. Oh, that's my serrated version. But this is a small French knife. Santoku. Just your typical chopping knives is all you need for this. Even if you just have like, I mean, I wouldn't use a table knife. A steak knife would work. I mean, there's ways to make it work. Just use what you have. Yeah, cooking and science, like baking is much more science, whereas cooking is much more of an art. So I tend more towards cooking because I just don't eat a lot of sugar. So for me, baking, like, why would I put all that work and effort into something that I'm not even gonna eat? I don't have other people to do. Yeah, I really like going into the science behind, so that's something I'll work on if you guys want. Otherwise, I can just kind of go right into like, here's how to be lazy and cook. So my lazy hack for all this is, again, I'm doing a double batch. It's just me. That's a lot of guac. Like you will see, it is a lot of guacamole for 6 avocados, plus all the onions and everything else I'm adding in. With mine, like I said, I'm not putting tomatoes into the guacamole. I'm doing a pico. So that way my family can choose to add tomatoes if they want, or they can have it without tomatoes. But yeah, like in college, you just want something quick and easy. If you're working multiple jobs, if you have a family, you just don't want to spend a lot of time or money, if possible, doing something delicious. So yeah, you can get individual servings of guacamole, you can get pre-made salsa. It's actually come down in price, but it doesn't take that long or that much effort to do it yourself. So we'll go ahead and avocado, just cut it. Oh, these are pretty tough. That is a huge seed. Holy moly. Wow. So you just cut around and you can see the little cap just comes off, so that can get thrown away. And you twist. Bloop. Avocado halves. Until August. I mean... Oh, I didn't get into the center. So you could just scoop this out. Another one is to use your knife, hack into it, keep your hand away just in case you miss. And then you turn it. Yeah, these are still too cold. There we go. So it cracked a little bit, it pops it right out. You can see. Clean, easy. If you save the pits, that's another way to keep your guac from browning. So another thing. Another one is to put sour cream on top. And I found out yesterday that there's dairy-free sour cream. This was from someone in Canada, so I have to see if here in the States there is. It's just something I never even thought to look for. I am a reindeer, Calamity. Aww. Kens, you're so cute. Oh, that was terrible. That was a terrible hack. There we go. So we'll just have to do this 6 times. A little repetitive, which is why we're just chillaxing. Try and not cut myself on stream by having slippery hands. I will say that, like, if you really dig into the avocado and are running your knife blade across that pit a bunch, if you do avocados a lot where you're cutting into this pit, it dulls the knife pretty quickly. So just be aware of that, because you do want sharp knives as opposed to dull ones. It's just going to be better, safer all around.
Driving along, saw a cliff, that's a pretty big fall, I could break a rib, and if I drove off, I could start again, but
The States do.
Side of the road, stretch my neck, it's so
Yeah, the
cold
avocados
outside, I
that
can see my breath,
my
and if
shopper
I
got
shed
are
a tear,
actually
I would
pretty
catch my
nice.
death, but
I'm quite pleased. She did a good job.
She
She was a little feisty with me because there was a mix-up with the phone number. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I just love cheese so much. I don't even do skim milk. I can't do 2%. I don't do 1%. I do full fat milk. So to go from that to like oat milk, or to go from full fat cheese to like not even real cheese, it's so, I don't know, it makes me antsy. Oh, that was horrible. See how that was a really bad hit. It's what happens for doing this on camera.
Sleeping alone, head on fire, I keep the TV on just to occupy, cause I get too bored.
I just don't drink milk or eat ice cream. Oh no. Yeah, I've been trying oat milk in coffee. Coconut milk is just really sweet, and I don't want to add that sweetness to like Alfredo's and my macaroni and cheese. I'm also not supposed to have soy, and I'm also supposed to avoid nuts because I'm just allergic to the world. So I'm hoping that oat is a good substitute for doing some more savory dishes. Because yeah, coconut milk, coconut oil, all that's great if you're doing sweet stuff. I did make a homemade mayo once with avocado oil, and that was freaking delicious. Milkshakes. Oh man, now I want a milkshake. Calamity, stop. I have all this delicious Mexican food. Don't make me want things that I'm really not supposed to have. But dang, a chocolate milkshake. Masonite's here. Masonite, how far off from 50 are you? Did Gillette get you there today? Oh, that one's a little squishy. Okay. But yeah, all of these are good. There's no brown spots. We'll see when we scoop them out. Okay. If you're setting a knife down, always set it away from yourself because you don't want to accidentally knock the blade into yourself. My cutting boards are raised and I just wash the counter, so I can actually tuck my knife underneath so I don't accidentally bump it into things. But knife safety 101. If we want to go into knife skill, you don't put your finger here. That makes it wobbly. You want to have a solid grip and then you just slightly turn. So grab it and then turn. And then you chop. And that way, let me see if I can show it in this camera. This is your chop line. When you're holding it straight out, pretend it's the floor, you're holding it straight out. This is your line. It's gonna go where this line goes. And never chop with your fingers out. This is a bad idea. Don't do it. That's how you lose fingertips. I'm trying to be family friendly, so we're not gonna do anything to make all that a bloody mess. Okay. Cat found something to play with in the corner. So another easy way for getting avocados out of the shell. Just a spoon. It's just a spoon. You don't have to get fancy stuff. Just get a spoon. This is a large serving spoon, or you can just get a regular tablespoon. And look, I just missed that tiny little bit. No avocado goes to waste in this household. This stuff's expensive for me. Because I'm in Michigan. We have to come all the way from California. There. One done. 11 more to go because we got 12. No, Kitty does not need to taste test some quesadilla. She has been horrible lately. Oh my goodness. She has been begging for food after last week. There. If you don't like getting your hands messy, I'm probably not the chef for you either, because I have a tendency to get my hands into everything. It just feels more personal. I'm putting love in it by putting my hands on it. But yeah, you just scrape the spoon along the shell on the inside. The shell stays intact, easy to clean up. For the most part, I'm not that messy. But then you get all the avocado in there. Double check as you're going, because every now and then there'll be like a little hard spot. No, can you see? Or is the glare too much? There's just a little bit of the stem on the inside. You also want to look for any brown spots. Not that it's bad, it's fine. It just doesn't look great. And if your avocado's already browning, then it's not great. You'll cheers it to the chat. Nice. Yeah, people go to school for years and years to learn to chop fast. When I was selling knives, I worked at a knife store. People would come in and they'd try and show off their skills, and I'm like, please don't. And they're like, no, look, I've worked in this all the time. And as soon as you're in front of someone, every single time they try to show off, they cut themselves. I'm like, I asked you not to for a reason. They're like, no, it's fine. I was like, no, now you have to fill out an accident report because I'm not about to be sued for you doing something really stupid. We're doing this by the book, which is why I told you not to in the first place. So go slow. Take knife skill classes. Watch videos. Sharp knives are going to do exactly what you tell them to do, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to tell it to do exactly what you don't want it to do. Easy mistakes to make. Always be extra careful when you get your knives back from sharpening. You forget how sharp they are. Every time. See, that little piece was trying to hide from me. Stop it. Get out of there. Okay. Now my hand is all messy, but that's okay. That's okay. By chopping your fingertips off? Calamity, no! Did they grow back? I hope so. You seem to be gaming okay. But yeah, if you have kids, like, these recipes are easy. A kid can sit here and scoop out avocado while you move on to the next step. Like, involve them. Instead of having them underfoot annoying you while you're trying to chop things, involve them in the easier steps. So that way they're entertained, you're not distracted while using knives, and everything's great. And it's quality family time. Yay! If you have a cat and that's your baby, do not include her in the cooking. She will only make a mess. I guarantee. The knuckle tuck. Yeah, it normally only takes once to learn the knuckle tuck. Oh, this avocado's hard. This one's gonna be a pain. Uh-oh. So this one's a little underripe. I don't know if we want to use that. See? That's not a fun avocado. We'll put that to the side. I should have enough without it. But when it sticks to its own shell like that, I get a little concerned. Still edible, it'll still be fine. It's just, oh, so much extra work to mash it because it's still pretty hard. Stand in the middle of the kitchen. Yeah, I'm surprised my cat is not literally sitting on my foot. Because that's what she does, is she will sit on my foot hoping that I will drop some morsel. I mean, it's kind of nice to have a cat that thinks she's a dog and will clean up anything I drop on the floor so I don't have to mop as often or sweep as often. Emphasis on lazy. Emphasis on lazy. One of the avocado tools, why? This works well. And those avocado tools are like $10. I mean, if you do the one where it also slices for like avocado toast, then fine. I guess it's nice to do that all in one step. But honestly, I think the spoon goes just as fast. It's just a couple of these are a little underripe, so that's where I'm struggling. Hey, Gillette! A rate of 7. Holy moly, dude. Do your Call of Duty peeps even want to see this mess? I don't know. I don't know. But I guess if I am going to play Call of Duty with you, the least you can do... I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love my Gillette. I love my Gillette. Thank you so much for the raid. You're awesome, bro. Like I said, after I finish cooking and putting it away and eating and all that, I'll get Call of Duty downloaded, and then I can be the new Kenza cat of the party. Love you, Kenz. I'm teasing. Love y'all. Y'all great. You're great. Alright. Last bit. We'll just take what we can get for this one. I don't want to struggle too much with it. The other half wasn't as much of a pain, so it's close to being the right ripeness. Oh, come on! Come on! I think it was the last stream. Yeah, it was last week. I rated Gillette and my screen froze. So he took a funny picture of me because my face was frozen. It looked really funny. And I turned it into an emote. So whenever I actually get affiliated, I do have a pretty funny emote of myself. Alright, so as always, my hands are a mess. So wash hands before moving on to the next step. Alright. Like I said, this is not just for me. This is a lot of guacamole. This is for a family of 5, and we all love guacamole. So it'll last a couple of days for 5 people. Especially if we're doing it with like quesadillas, or we're doing it just with chips. 6 avocados is a lot. Not gonna lie, I understand. But again, this is lazy cooking, and my lazy cooking hack is to cook more than you need so you have leftovers. Because leftovers are great. Leftovers are the best. So we're gonna start with 2 limes because that's what the basic recipe calls for. We can always add more. And it says it's all going together. I don't feel like I need to go through and wash my knife after each one. It's all getting combined. Wait. And then I cut cross section so that I can juice it. Couple different options for juicing your limes into your guac. Of course, you can always make extra dishes and use an actual juicer. Or drop the juicer into the food. You know, whatever works. Try and get that better on camera. There we go. So, all kinds of juice. I, again, really like lime juice. I really like this to be super acidic. So I try and get as much of the juice as I want. I might even zest the limes. We'll see. We'll see when it comes to the taste test. If I get some pulp in there, I'm fine with that. These ones are pretty good. There's not much pulp in it. Food Network sponsorship? Probably not. Probably not. I wouldn't hate it, but I do really like their recipes. So I'll give them a shout out just because if you're being lazy, you want to know you're going to a place to get recipes that are actually going to taste like you want them to. And not like, Gillette. I wish you could cheer. No, I have had 4 knee surgeries. 3 of them were within 1 year. So I was laid up for an entire year, and that year was so much Food Network. So much Food Network. And I was watching like Gianna, a bunch of really fancy looking Food Network stuff. Alright, I don't think I can get any more juice out of that. See, I think I juiced that one pretty good. On to the next. But yeah, so during the day, Food Network was the best. And at night, the only channel that didn't have infomercials was Investigation Discovery. So I watched a lot of shows about murdering and serial killers and... So my useless knowledge isn't even good for like a trivia team. I know about food, and I know about serial killers of the past. Alright, so that's one way. So that's a pretty quick and easy way. It's especially if you like to get all the juice. There might be some pulp, like I said, with this method of juicing. But if you're lazy and you don't have this stuff, I think this is just a kit I found online for like $10 and it's got 10 pieces. Go to the dollar store. It's a juicer. You don't need to spend a lot of money on a juicer. Unless you juice a lot of things, then fine. Hey, go DJ, thanks for the follow. I think I forgot to follow you earlier. I opened your page. And he was up super late getting his stream ready, so. Go DJ. Oh, these are pretty cool. Normally I just use my knuckle. There we go. But this is pretty cold. Another option is also use the same spoon and juice it. So again, you don't have to use fancy tools. You don't have to do anything too crazy. You can see it's doing pretty much the same thing. And I already have it, so why spend extra money? Oh, it smells so good. It smells so good. How much lime? I'll do one more that way. Dexter. Yeah. Dexter is a good show. The books are actually, I think, better. I get why they deviated from the books for the TV show. But, I mean, if you're that sociopathic, you're not gonna end up getting married and having kids typically. And in the books, he did. Sorry if that was a total, like, spoiler. Spoiler alert, little late. But the show's been out long enough. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, I like reading, but I've been doing a ton of audiobooks lately. Even though I own like 300 books and I haven't read all of them, through pandemic, I've just been doing audiobook after audiobook. I think in the last 2 months, I've gone through 40 audiobooks, give or take. I don't know. I'll have to go back and double check. Okay. So there. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of lime juice. Oh, these were so juicy. I was afraid that they were going to be dry with it being December. Rinse the hands, as always. So if you have a food processor and you're just doing like a single serving, you can do that. If you have a potato masher, that's what I'm going to use. If you don't have those things, just use a fork. I like mine to be not completely smooth, but also not super chunky. So I think the potato masher is the way for me to go. Flamingo, thank you for the follow. My hands are all messy. I can't do my head thingy. Potato masher. And this, you're just trying to incorporate the lime. It's going to help prevent the avocado from browning. That's helpful. And then we'll add the seasoning and mash it a little further. That one doesn't want to mash. That might be a problem. Come on. Do it. Do what I tell you to do. Yeah, I think this is the one that was still a little underripe, so I might have to take that out. Because that doesn't want to mash at all. That's fine. It'll be delicious later. I'll put it on something else. But I'm not mad. Out of all these avocados to only have really 1/2 that's giving me grief, I'm not mad at it. I'm I'm not mad at it. Yeah, no one wants browning on your fruits and veggies. So true, so true. Alright, so then this is your base for guac. You can then go any direction you want from there. And I like a lot of onions, so we're gonna put in onion. Like I said, if you want your tomatoes in it, put the tomatoes in there. Peppers, I have jalapenos. I'm gonna leave the seeds in. We like spicy. You can take the seeds out. You can do habaneros, chili peppers, green bell peppers, like this is your base. Avocado and lime juice. Typically salt, and then whatever else you like in your guac. So, the recipe itself on Food Network calls for half and then you double it up. So 1 jalapeno. I'm doing 2. My family doesn't. We don't roll like that. Nuh-uh. Nope, nope, nope. I want this one. And I can also add my spices. This calls for 1 medium onion, or half a medium onion, so 1. We'll start with 1. I might end up adding more. We'll see as I chop up the onions. Doesn't call for any pepper. It calls for cayenne, cumin. So that's just going to add a little more heat. You can leave those out. 1 clove garlic. We don't roll like that. We're probably going to do at least 2. At least 2. Probably more. Probably. Alright, if this is my clove of garlic, I can do 1 clove of garlic. This thing is huge! I thought it was a bunch of little ones, but oh my golly. Oh my good golly. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, if this is 1 clove of garlic, then maybe 1 clove of garlic. The only time I will go with 1 clove of garlic. 2 fly, hot 2 fly. Hi back. So this can now, I'll add the seasonings first. And again, this just do what works for you and your family. So this says half a teaspoon of salt, cumin, cayenne each, doubled up, so 1 teaspoon each. I'm probably gonna end up adding more salt, maybe more cayenne. For guac, I like rock salt as opposed to table salt. It just tends to incorporate a little better. My preference. Yeah. No. I can't even pretend that I'm only gonna do 1. There's no way. Yeah, cayenne. So extra heat. Since the recipe calls for taking the seeds out, this is where you're gonna get that little kick of heat. I mean, if I want to call out a particular Food Network chef, my favorite is Alton Brown. So if I see one of his recipes, I tend to go for that. Oh, you're just gonna be a pain, aren't you? I'm trying to measure for you guys, but it's cooking. It's an art, not a science. I tend to go by how things smell. I have a pretty strong sense of smell, but at the same time, go by how it tastes, follow the recipe the first few times, do what you need to do. Cooking's supposed to be fun. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Stop it. Here, that's about a teaspoon. That's a good place to start, and we'll go from there. And like I said, we'll mix all that up at the end. Alton Brown and Kenji Lopez, yeah. They really are food gods. They're so good. So we'll do this one humongous clove. Holy moly. We'll start with that guy. Shoot. Is that even gonna work? No. I don't. Oh, yeah, it did. I was like, I've never used a clove this big. Good grief. I almost am gonna hate myself for saying that, but this might be too much garlic. Holy moly. And the bottom, this is from the plant where the stem is. It's just a little extra tough, so I cut that off. I know, I'm with you, Calamity. I don't know. Oh, it does smell good. I don't know if there is such a thing as too much garlic, but... So again, medallions. It's helpful if you don't lift. This is a French way of cooking, is you don't lift the tip of the blade off the cutting board. I'm tucking my fingers under. Going slow to be precise. So yeah, I got my medallions. They're fairly close in size. We're just gonna mince this up nice and small. Man, you guys, my family is going to have some stanky breath, but so am I. And it's gonna be amazing. There. So now I just got my little pieces. And then we cross chop. And then we'll mince her right up. Ooh, this is so much garlic. This is amazing. I'm in awe at this thing. This clove is huge. How do you even grow that? Is this like one I should be afraid of because it's got so many chemical additives in order to make it grow like this? Or is this like a normal thing and I've just been buying the wrong cloves of garlic my entire life? Yeah. Garlic press is nice too if you have that. It's never been something that I use. I like having the control over the size and having it be less of a paste because it mashes it as opposed to chopping it. I don't know if Mama Zug Zug's in here, but I'd like her take on what she thinks. Does this look like the right amount of garlic? Too much? Too little? Oh, I'm excited. That's so much garlic! Oh, my hands are gonna smell like garlic for days. Can't wait. Okay. So I'm starting with that. We'll reserve this for maybe something else. For now. We'll do the onion. Oh, these are pretty small. But we'll still do it how I normally do. Obviously, you cut off the roots, take off the outer layer too. You're Masonite! Masonite, did you hit 50 yet? Over a pound in a tomato? Holy moly! Yeah, I know sometimes, like, if the conditions are just right, they can get pretty epic. Okay, I don't know if many of you have seen cutting onions this way, but this is what I recommend. This onion is wider than it is tall, so I'm going to do more cuts this way. But you don't go all the way through, that's why I left the stem on, so you go up to about there. Always keeping your hands away. I think I do about 1/2 inch cuts for onion, because we like a good bite of onion, but not too much. And then, same thing, 1/2 inch this way. But it's the vapors from these onions that make your eyes tear up. So this releases less vapors when you chop it. Done. See? All diced up. Ooh, that is a strong onion. Here it goes. Here it goes. Another thing you can do is cut the bottom stem portion off and soak it in water, and the water will actually pull the enzymes out that make your eyes tear up. Yep. See, he's got it. Our food science guy's on top of it. So, if you're someone who like super tears up with onions, like I said, either soak it in some water, cut it this way. It just helps reduce the amount of enzymes that can commingle in the air to make you tear up. Oh no, I cut through. I got too zealous. Nope. That's just asking for a problem. There. See? Again, all cut, ready to go. Oh, spreading out like that though. Ooh, these are strong! Strong onions! Nope, this one can go over here now. I'm gonna rinse my hands just fast. Sorry, that onion was getting to me. I had to blow my nose so it didn't drip all over and wash my hands again. And then for onions, you can mince, you can dice, you can julienne, you can do medallions. You can kind of just do whatever you want. I normally do medallions and then I'll give them a quick dice from there. So I think that's what we'll do today. These look pretty good. They're nice. They're pretty big jalapenos. If you want to seed them, then cut them lengthwise. You can use a spoon to pull the pulp and get the seeds out. That's a pretty quick and easy way, but again, we like the seeds, so I'm just gonna do a pretty generous medallion on them and cut it down from there. My jalapenos didn't get this big, jeez. I think my jalapenos were half that size. I was having a hard time telling the jalapenos apart from my habaneros. They were that small. Or my habaneros were that big. I don't know. So yeah, you can see that's a pretty thick slice. I could have gone smaller, but I'm gonna chop these down a little bit now. I am a fan of it looking homemade and not everything being perfectly sized and perfectly equal. Some bites might be a little spicier, some bites might be less, some might be more garlicky. Again, if you have a food processor, you can save yourself all these steps. I just wanted to show the chopping portion. Next time I can show you like faster ways. But that also means more dishes, so just have to kind of figure out what works best for you. There, I think that's pretty good. They're fairly, oops, that one's too big. Fairly bite-sized, pretty appropriate for my tastes. I average more than you? Aww, calamity. Wait until I play Call of Duty, then I'll probably go to like 0 because no one wants to see how bad I'm gonna be. Did Gillette tell you he talked me into downloading it? And Jakey talked me into downloading Rocket League. You guys are so screwed. Oh, yes, thank you for telling Oh, Medius, I have a tolerance. I have built up a tolerance so I can handle the seas with my bare hands. I also have lotion that neutralizes the capsaicin. But first time handling anything spicy, use gloves. That's true. That's true. I should remind people to use gloves. I do have gloves. Mine, again, with my allergies, are latex free. I have the nitrile. I buy them in bulk because I dye my hair, which needs to be redone. You can't see the purple anymore. But yes. So if you're handling any capsaicin, jalapenos, habaneros, chilies, ghost peppers, a lot of this stuff, wear gloves, be safe, because especially if I were to like touch my face, underneath my eyes, I'm not gonna do it because we don't need to do that here, but especially under my eyes, that's gonna be more sensitive. But my hands, they've got enough calluses. They're not gonna know. But, so all that's left is the cilantro. And I know some people are all for cilantro, some people are super against cilantro. Before I do the cilantro though, I want to see what the flavor profile is. I like cilantro as a garnish, less of it mixed in, more fresh on top. So I'll probably send my family quite a bit of the cilantro over because I have a bunch. So I'll just do a quick mash and then I'll get the spoon out to more incorporate. And then the longer this sits, the more those flavors are just going to kind of blend and be delicious. If you find you put too much heat in there, add a little bit of sour cream to the mix. That's going to bring the heat profile down. You can add more lime, add more avocado. I don't know, I'm normally trying to up the heat, so the only one I really use if I need to bring it down is sour cream. Actually, yeah, that's pretty well mixed. I don't think I need to get my spoon out. So let's taste. Let's see how we're doing. Wow. That looks so gross on camera. That's really brown. Disposable spoons. This way. Yeah, so the standard recipe is pretty good. It's got a nice little sizzle. I added extra jalapeno. The cayenne and cumin, yep, the cayenne and cumin are going to give a little more of the back throat afterburn. Those of you who like spices know what I'm talking about. The lime's actually pretty good, and then when I add the cilantro, that's going to help it. I want a little more salt. The garlic is actually really sweet in there. So I think the salt's gonna help balance out the sweetness of that big garlic. I have low blood pressure, so for me, everything needs more salt. I'm trying to make sure I blend this for my family, who some of them have high blood pressure, and I don't want to kill them. And you can always add more salt later, but it's going to incorporate. The avocado is just going to soak up that flavor. Yeah, the cayenne just adds a really good heat. The cumin, I think, adds a good, like, smoky heat to it. So it creeps up on you, and what I like is where the heat's gonna build. So the more you eat, the more it kind of layers on top of itself. Food with Aaron Go, Thumper Dumper, you're right, let's go! Let's go! So, do I want to, I mean, I guess I can add some cilantro now. My family doesn't have that. I think I'm the one in the family who gets that soap taste, but it's 50-50, so sometimes it tastes cilantro and sometimes it tastes like soap. I never know what I'm gonna get. My body is weird. My body's weird. The recipe calls for 1 tablespoon. Let me show you. I don't know why this is, but whenever I go to the grocery store, I always end up with so much cilantro. And yes, it chops down. But do you realize this is so much cilantro? This is so much. Oh, but it smells so good. It smells so good. So I'm probably going to take some of this and boil it down and try making some cilantro oil to see if I like that flavor profile. That's something new I've been trying. I'll also add the rest of this garlic because we like our garlic. And this is a sweeter garlic instead of like a black garlic. But even the normal garlic, like this is really sweet. So I'm just gonna pull off some leaves here. 1 tablespoon, shoot. That's a little. I try and get the stems out of there. Right now, Thumper Dumper, I'm making guacamole. So we put in 6 avocados because I'm making for myself and my family. A giant clove of garlic. 1 onion. I'll probably chop up extra onions so they can add more. Cilantro is a good word. Let's see, it was for the double recipe. I've done probably 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of cayenne, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and then 2 jalapenos. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. And you could put it in like this. Waifu Hades. Aww. Hades already has a waifu and a Twitch waifu, and then like 5 other people in line. Use your stream account as not your account? What do you mean? Stating facts. Oh, Hades. What are you cooking tonight? I'm hoping to be able to add some stuff to Hades' Discord. He has a food section, and he's been making me hungry with everything he keeps putting on there. I don't like a big hit of cilantro, so I really mince up my cilantro leaves typically. And as they soak up the moisture in there, they're going to kind of shrink down and blend in. But that's why I'm going to town on this cilantro. I don't want huge pieces. If you really like cilantro, you can throw it in as is. Like, it's fine. There. I'd say that looks pretty dang good. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, I'm practiced, so I use my finger to clean off the knife. You can use the side of the board, but if you're going to do this, never like cut into, you can't see that side. So if you're wiping off the blade, like don't do it into, you want to do against. And same if you're wiping off with your hand or anytime you're drying a knife, go down, never go towards the blade. Just life hacks, try not to cut yourself, knives are sharp. Okay. And then, even though I'm allergic to tomatoes, typically I do put tomatoes in my guac. I think this recipe calls for 2 with a full batch. So 4 with a double, I would do 2. And then you can always add more tomatoes. But I like that pop of color. It just adds something a little extra. So if I want to go like extra fancy, I might put in some yellow bell peppers. Just, I don't know. I like it to look fun and festive. It's just very green for me. But I'd say guac is good. So I'm going to refrigerate that while we work on the pico. Pico de gallo. Ah, dang, I forgot to put my apron on. Every time. Every time. I even got it out. I had it hanging on the fridge. There. Fortunately, I haven't gotten myself all covered with food. Gillette. Meat pie. Ooh, yes. Oh, I love phyllo dough. Yum. Yum. Sounds so good. All right. Let me clear my space before we move on to the next one. If you listen to what they're saying in the Food Network, this is called mise en place, everything in its place. Make sure your station's clear. I forgot to get out a trash bag beforehand for all of my junk, so it's just sitting on the side. But that can cause accidents, so keep your space clear before moving on. There. I don't think I need that many bits, so we'll get rid of those and that. All right. And I'll wipe this down afterwards because we're gonna make more of this. To the pico! I actually really enjoy cutting tomatoes, even though I'm really not supposed to have. So, let me see, what did I order? Did I double this? No. Okay, so this recipe, also Food Network, is 12 Roma tomatoes. So if you have a food processor, I would recommend this. Since we're doing pico, it's going to be a very rough chop. That way, it's going to be... I mean, it's a lot of salsa, even for 5 people. What did this say? It says a yield for 4 to 6, so this is supposed to be for 5 people. This is a lot. 12 Roma tomatoes. They've all been pre-washed again, since they're going right in. I think that was this cutting board. And then I have another bowl, so I can just give it a quick toss. This is, again, just onion, tomato, lime, salt. Did this ask? Yeah, cilantro, jalapenos. This doesn't even ask for garlic. Psh. Psh. Yeah, tomatoes, onion, cilantro, jalapeno. Lime. Easy peasy. Easy peasy, so it's just a lot of chopping. For tomatoes, tomatoes. If and when's here. Oh no, now I'm gonna have all of the problems. I love you if and when. He got some great pulls. This man kept me up until 7 o'clock this morning with Pokemon cards. But it was so much fun. He got some really good pulls for once. After last week, it was rough. Stelly's here too. Okay, focus. Gotta put blinders on. I can do this. I can do this. Got it, Gillette. So for tomatoes, you want a really sharp knife. For everything, you want a really sharp knife. But with tomatoes, especially, because if you have to put pressure on it, you're just gonna spread all the delicious juices all over the cutting board when it's supposed to be in the food. Typically, you want a straight edge. This is a pretty hefty knife. I have a cheese knife. If you haven't tried a cheese knife for tomatoes, try it, because they tend to work really well. And like, it cuts so smooth. And I'm getting no juices all over the place. See? That's all the juice that came out. Sharp knives, y'all. Sharp knives. Again, I'm practiced with my knives. Do one at a time, go slower as opposed to what I'm doing. Because when you stack up like this, I have 3 high, they're gonna start shifting on you. And when they start shifting, that's when it gets dangerous. Look at all that delicious, juicy tomato goodness. Delicious. That's what you said. That is what I said. You're right. Be gentle with your tomatoes. They are your friends. Delicious, delicious, juicy friends. Unless you're me and you're allergic to them. Then they are not your friends, but they're still delicious and juicy. 1 down, 11 to go. Okay, let's try it this way. I'm just playing around because it's supposed to be very home style. So these are just different ways of cutting all these foods to see which I like, what's gonna work best. I think this one is. So this knife I'm using, being a cheese knife, is serrated, which is why I'm sawing as opposed to just doing a straight cut like you normally do. Gosh, this is gonna be a lot of tomatoes. This is a lot of salsa. But it's gonna be good. And be good. I know. You guys have such great emotes. I want some. When do I get my emotes? Where? I was afraid that this playlist from Twitch was going to be a little too, like, chill, but I'm kind of digging it. I was trying to do a jazz playlist, but then I had to queue up, like, every single song, so I'll have to play with this Twitch music beta thing some more. I'm not mad at it, though. That's fine, I'll just close my eyes. 40 emotes? Holy moly, Calamity. That must have been like one of the bigger streamers. Jeez. I think it's fancy when someone has like 5. I think it's fancy when someone even has 1. Tipsy! Tipsy in the house. There's my mod. Found him. Tipsy, you haven't missed much. I just finished guac, which I know you know how to make. So we're just doing pico, which is 12 Roma tomatoes. So many tomatoes. So we're just kind of hanging out. Well, everyone apparently watches me slice and dice some tomatoes, because that's going to be a hot second. Well, I get through 12 of these. Silly, slimy, gooey tree. Tipsy. A couple of these are pretty big. I miss these. I probably should wear gloves for working with tomatoes, since I'm allergic. We'll see. I have a new EpiPen. It's fine. If anything goes sideways, we're covered. It's all good. I don't think I've had any problems with just having contact with tomatoes, though. I don't recall. I don't recall. Yeah, I'm doing the pico. I'm doing all 3. Like, this episode of lazy cooking isn't exactly all that lazy, but at the same time, like, I'm cooking in bulk, and once we get to the quesadilla, that's like super lazy cooking. Could be done in a microwave too, if you live in dorms or don't have a stove. But I prefer my stovetop quesadillas. Alright, I need to move these out so I can see that I'm actually making progress. Ooh, after this one, we're halfway. This is number 6. 6 to go. We're getting there. We're getting there. You'd even eat the avocados. You're from California. You better eat avocados. You're starving. Well, I guess it's 4:30. It's almost time for work to be done. I guess I can understand why you'd be hungry. Avocado and pepper. Yeah, I had 1/2 of my avocado that was just too underripe. So I'll probably just put that on something tomorrow once it can soften a little bit. Maybe even later tonight so it doesn't get too brown. Oh wait, no, I just threw it away. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Wasteful. Wasteful. I don't know about you guys, but like this music and just this repetitive cutting of tomatoes, I'm zen right now. I am so zen. No, this is the beta. So Twitch put out an update. They have a Twitch music beta. I think that's what it's called. Soundtrack by Twitch. And it's supposed to be like audio. So it's a bunch of royalty-free music that's safe for streaming. And since I'm on my laptop, I figured I'd give it a try instead of blasting music for my neighbors to hear throughout my house. I tend to prefer things a little more upbeat, which is why I was hoping for some jazz. But I'm not mad at this. This is very chillax.
I've got faith in myself and all of the things I do. I don't need no one else to tell me what I can do. If you don't realize,
Man, I might need a bigger bowl. I thought this would be plenty. Holy moly. I'm gonna have salsa coming out of my ears. Jeez. Normally I have to double up recipes. This one I might have to have. Weird. Weird. We're almost done with the tomatoes, guys. We're getting there. I just wanted to do this stuff first so that my quesadilla would be hot when I eat it, but dang, I didn't think I'd be cutting this much. Should have paid more attention to my recipes when I was fishing for them. Last two. Tipsy, are you ready for some phasmophobia on Friday? Still trying to convince if and when to do it. I'm being putts. Better believe it. Right? Dang. Supposed to add 3 onions to this. Just wait till you guys see how full this bowl is. Goodness. Ooh, yes. The unboxing. That makes sense. I mean, you could always start the unboxing at like 6:30 and then come over and do Phasmo at 7. I have to coordinate with Anonymous to make sure we can all communicate. There should be an in-game chat thing. I don't know if it's something you have to unlock or what, but we'll figure it out. Alright, tomatoes. Done! My hands are covered in tomatoes. I need a bigger bowl. Alright, we're gonna have to switch to a pot because this is a lot of tomatoes. So I'm not actually cooking it, but I need something bigger to hold this massive amount of salsa I'm making. And then lime again. Some strip lights to go behind. Nice. Yeah, I understand. A lot of people do like the strip lights. Lime. Oh, just one lime is all this calls for. I'm probably gonna add a second one because I like lime. See, Kens, you're helping people. You don't even know it. Look at you go. Look at you go. Lots and lots of lime juice. So yes, the Food Network recipe, this is a lot of salsa for me. I don't think even 5 of us are gonna go through that this quickly. Go through this that quickly. Words, Aaron. Learn to speak. But live and learn. Live and learn. Oh, you haven't gotten the instrument yet? It's coming on Friday? Oh, Calamity, you haven't seen a Gertie? Yeah, you need to watch Tipsy on Friday. A hurdy-gurdy is so cool. They're really nifty sounding, like there's nothing like it. You mindlessly finish it? Oh my gosh, Warren, I couldn't if I tried. When I was younger, I could go through a jar of salsa in a sitting, but quarts? Ooh boy. But also, I tend to like mine not home style, like a Pico. This will be good to put with the guac for me, but we'll see how that is. I might end up adding the second lime. Then this also calls for 3 onions and 2 more jalapenos, I think. Yeah. 2 jalapenos, 3 onions, so we'll do the jalapenos next, because that's quick. After everything you just sat through with those, with watching me cut all of those. Next time I make salsa, I'm not chopping all those tomatoes. Next time you guys are gonna see me get out the food processor, because screw that. So if you want to take the seeds out, I'll show you. Just cut lengthwise. And then you can easily just pull the pulp with a spoon or something. So hit it that way. I can still. This I want to have a little smaller so you get more the bite of the tomatoes. And I did half medallions and I'll chop them down a little further, but nothing too crazy. There. Yeah. So just a quick little extra chop through. Was I making anyone nervous there, chopping that last little bit of jalapeno? Your power goes out. No! If and when? How are we supposed to watch more Genshin rolls? How are we supposed to watch more Pokemon cards? You need power. More power. Okay. Alright, that looks good. Oh, well, you can get your dad for Christmas. My dad's easy because he likes books and I like books. And he likes music and I like music. We both like power tools. So yeah, basically I can be like, what do I want to play with? And then just get that from my dad. And here we come to the part of the stream where I'm probably going to start bawling because I have to do 3 onions. And the 1 onion earlier was whoa dang. So that's gonna be fun. We're gonna switch cutting boards. Keep that with me. I'm gonna do not quite as fine of a chop on these though, so hopefully I won't start bawling. But we'll see. We'll see. Wow, that one's just flaking all over. Good golly, Miss Molly. Round 1. Fight! Yeah, I think I did okay in my first round against onions. I didn't start completely bawling, but first tap, 1 of 6 down. We're doing good. We're doing good. Work nice and fast on that one. Question is, can I get through all 6 without having to step away? A lot of pain all at once. Yeah, just get it over with instead of dragging it out. Warren, I said earlier, a couple of hacks is cutting them this way so that the enzymes can't be released in the air quite as much. If you cut one of the stem ends off and soak it in water in the refrigerator like overnight, that'll also help pull out the enzymes. But I'm with you. I'll just do a bunch of onions and then put them in an airtight container and leave that in my refrigerator so I have diced onions for like a month at a time. Alright, it's starting to build. I can feel it. We made it through the first onion. My eyes aren't quite burning yet. We're getting there. Positive appearance versus why are knives so expensive? Yeah. It's an investment. I didn't really do much cooking before I got good knives because it was just a pain. It was obnoxious, but then once you get good knives, you're kind of like, well, I need to justify this giant expense I just did. So I started cooking more, and I also noticed a big difference. So if I go over to a friend's place and cook and they have cheap knives versus my like super nice expensive knives. So it's kind of like setting up for streaming. Do you get something that'll get you by, or do you get something that's going to last you? And sure, you can get knives that'll get you by, and that's great, or you can get knives that are going to last you, spend the extra up front, Priorities. I don't know if I'm gonna make it all the way through third one. My eyes are starting to burn. I can feel my nose start to like tingle. I'm doing better than I did last time. But not by much. Yeet. You got it, Lethal. No, we might make it. We're getting there.
But I don't think I have it. It's like I sold my soul and like I got nothing for it. Sometimes I feel okay. Here is a lovely day. Yes, I am doing well. Here is a day from.
Too bad I don't have bet enough. We could have had a bet as to am I gonna make it for 1, 2, or 3 before I start crying.
Baby, I was only going crazy. I don't feel like talking lately. Telling everyone I'm busy. I don't wanna go, baby. I want you to love the
I'm also doing much larger dices on this one, so it's giving it less opportunity to enter the atmosphere.
and the world wants all of you, but there's just too much of it. Don't even know what to do with it. Sometimes at 2 a.m. I really need to cry. I would
Last
never
half.
ask why.
Gonna make it.
Just glad I have a spine.
Gonna make it.
Don't wanna go on just praying for other kind of sorrows. I know there's something I can do, but what though? Baby, I was only going crazy. I don't feel like talking lately. Telling everyone I'm busy. I don't wanna do it.
Who cuts everything by cheering? What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sorry that I keep you waiting.
Calamity, you'll have to DM me a link because I have no clue what you're talking about. Oh, made it! I definitely need to go wash my hands now though because that's getting to me. Oh. Oh boy. Oh yeah, Calamity, did you make your tea yet? Your Yorkshire tea? Alright, so I think all that's left is the cilantro. Oh, salt to taste. So the cilantro, I'm not even going to chop because with this one you don't need to. And I'm ready for some quesadillas, yo. This calls for 2 cups of cilantro, which is also why I have so much cilantro. We're just gonna start throwing cilantro in there. Oh, you're gonna do it on stream? Nice. Thanks for the lyric, Tipsy. So much cilantro. It's getting everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Make sure I'm not getting too many stems in there. Like, it's fine, but I prefer not having stems. So I throw one right back in. So yeah, depending on the recipe, depending on your flavor preferences, you can forego cilantro, you can do something else. You can do big chunky pieces like this, like I'm doing. You can chop it like I did with the guac. Just kind of do your thing, make it your own. I'm being lazy and not even undoing the bundle. Yeah. That's not quite 2 cups. We need some more. And once it mixes in, it's going to wilt down like most leafy greens. I think this stuff's pretty pictured. There. And You can use whatever oil, whatever your preference is. I like using butter. I'm a full fat kind of person, even though I'm not doing lard. You can make them cheesier, you can make them less. I've done quesadillas with like steak and provolone. I've done quesadillas, chicken and avocado. Like, you can throw whatever you want in there. But yes, I'm with Calamity. It's butter. Butter all the way. I'm gonna start heating my pan. I do medium low. I have aluminum pans, so they heat up higher. Otherwise, I do a medium heat. I like to cook them fast, which means I should get a plate out. And I just have like taco tortillas. These are 6-inch, I think. About the size of my face. And I'll move this. Wow, I made a mess of cilantro. So I just do about a pat of butter. So pat would be marking. I don't do a full tablespoon. I do a half a tablespoon for a pat of butter. And that should be enough. I can always add more, but I just need enough to coat the pan and get a nice brown on the tortilla shell. And then, I don't know. I mean, I could fold them over and do that. I was planning on actually just doing full tortilla, cheese, and then another tortilla on top. Let's see how many I have. How many are we cooking today? So we'll do 2 full and a half. Done. Easy peasy. Put it over here so you can see them as they come out. These cook super fast. Like I said, you can do these in the microwave if you want. When I cook in the microwave or reheat stuff, I reheat quesadillas a lot. Like one day, I think I did 20 quesadillas. Like, I just cooked up a crap ton of quesadillas. I did 5 different flavors. So there were 4 of each. Let them cool, cut them down, package them in freezer safe bags, and then I just pull them out. I pop them in the microwave for like 20 to 30 seconds, flip it over, 20-30 seconds, maybe a third time, and dinner's ready. So for something like this that heats up, yeah, my pan's already hot, my butter's melting. So, quesadilla time. You just want to basically have your tortilla. You want the cheese right away, because the main part is getting the cheese melty. If you have meat, then you want to make sure that the meat heats through. So then I'll do the meat and the cheese on, and then cheese on top, because the meat's going to take longer to heat through, unless I just cook the meat. Let's see, this is 2 cups of cheese. So that should get me through this. Not quite a cup of cheese per. That's a lot of cheese in a quesadilla. It's delicious, but that's a lot of cheese. And here's Kitty begging. You can't hear her because I got music on. But she's mewing at me. She's like, where's my cheese? Let me have cheese. No, Kitty, no cheese for you. So like I said, it's medium low. The pan's still heating up, so this is going to take a little bit. Oh, Sparrow, my cat Ro, she's underfoot, and she's trying to get at the cheese that was in my hand. She's like, if I trip you, then you'll drop it, right? Then I can eat the bag. Right, kitty? So she's hanging out by the stove, hoping to get some cheese. There. Just waiting for the pan to finish heating up while it melts the cheese. Get a nice brown coating on the quesadilla. If you let the butter brown a little bit, it adds a nice flavor too. Get a little bubbly. A lot of recipes will call for a brown butter sauce. So that just means you cook the butter, let it brown, and then you add your cream or your other ingredients. Starting to sizzle. I think I could have put more cheese in that one. It's kind of like pancakes. The first one, you're not going to throw it out because rude, but the first one is kind of your test. I have a tendency to turn my heat too high because I get impatient. I'm like, but I want quesadilla now. I'm trying to be patient. Let it get nice and toasty. If I had thought ahead, I would have started the stovetop a couple minutes ago. But it's fine. It's fine. How did I get on my cutter? See, first one done. There's a good sizzle. That's what we like to hear. Next one can definitely use more.
In the coldness of the room, all the cars going by are like people on the move. Hold your breath, count to 10. It's okay to feel so small. Let it out.
Then we can start dishing this one up while that cooks.
Isn't it nice to be all by yourself?
With all the ingredients we made. Yeah, there's not a good cheese pull on this one. There's cheese, but not a good pull. But that's fine. And then we got some sour cream, of course. Do a dollop of daisy. See, it's all pretty and cute. You can do it that way, or you can do it on top. That one cooked a little too fast. Gillette, am I making you hungry yet? Second one up. Final one. Oops, don't forget the butter. Don't forget the butter. Alright, should have just enough time to cut this one. Ready? Ready for it? Ooh. Now that's a cheese pull. Super cheesy. Nope. That one cooked quickly. It's a little darker. Alright, so this is if I wanted to plate like separate, so then you can kind of decide what you want to do. And then we'll plate this one all together. Oh, nice and crunchy. Super cheesy. So then I like the sour cream on it. I'm a big fan of sour cream, so I do a coating of sour cream, generous amount of guac, and then pico for taste. Done. All right, let's see how I did. My cheese pull, my mess, hand food. There aren't words. All right, dinner's up. Ring the bell. Come on, people. Come eat. It's so good, you guys. Like, normally I'll do quesadillas or I'll do guacamole. Very rarely will I make homemade pico, but all together, oh, it's so good. It's like heaven in my mouth. I'm gonna overeat. G-Mac, I made plenty. You did not see this vat of pico. Look at this vat. This giant vat full of pico. To go with this giant bowl full of guacamole. And I have a bunch more supplies to make quesadillas. It's just those are so easy to do quickly that you don't need to like Zug Zug! Mama Zug Zug. I had to tell Gillette what that means, so he's gonna love you for a while. But yeah, all together, the flavors just blend perfectly. Like the pico with the extra cilantro and the extra lime and the guac, and then there's the saltiness. I think my family's gonna love me. I have so much to send over. Wait till they try this pico. Like, not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. It's good. It's good. It's good. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stream later because I might not have a voice, but worth it. So worth it. I'm sorry, you guys. This is too good. I have to finish this before I move on. Mm-hmm. 3 hours before you can eat calamity. I'm so sorry. Emote hype. My mouth is watering and I'm eating it. Like, it is that good. All this together is just... And can you see the cheese spilling out of that quesadilla? Like, holy moly. Oh, that was a good hit of jalapeno. Mmm. Mm. Almost last a piece. No, kitty, none for you. This is my food. Oh. It's so good. It's so good, you guys. For myself, I'm definitely going to mix the guac and the pico together. These are really good. So much hype! Oh, is the emote showing? Was it doing the thing? Oh no, it's not. I thought I set it up so that the emotes would bounce around the screen. but it's not showing. Oh man, we do need to have an emote more. We were talking about that the other time. I'm being so rude eating in front of you guys, but I don't even care. This is really good. Okay. Take a break. You have too many. There's no such thing as too many emotes. No such thing. Okay. Since I'm packing this up to send it off to my family, wash my hands, COVID. So many containers. So many containers. We'll figure this out. We're gonna make this work. I lost my towel. There's too much stuff. Okay. I'm just gonna keep leaving this right here for you guys. And you can kind of see what I'm doing to pack up because it's that delicious. Everything that we did, yes, it was 2 hours and I was taking my time. But yes, it's freaking delicious. And if I was feeding just myself, this would feed me for at least a week. Since I'm feeding more than myself, it'll at least feed all of us for a couple days. I mean, they'll have to make their own quesadillas. Just because those are better fresh. Like, they're fine reheated in the microwave, but it's better if you can do them fresh. So I am going to try and give away most of the salsa so that I don't die. Because Warren, I now understand. Yeah, that turned out amazingly well. And I probably would sit down and eat all of it. And then I would hate myself for like a week. Gosh, this is so much food. So much food. And yeah, if you're using food processors, if you're not doing double batches or even as much of a batch, it's not going to take as long. So it really isn't that difficult to make homemade guac or homemade salsa. It's very customizable for your palate. Oh no, I dropped a tomato. Kitty just looked at me just like, I don't want that. Are you kidding me? I want the good stuff. Alright. Man, I still have so much left over, you guys. After this entire container. I don't know if I can fit any more in there. Let's try. Okay. That's as much as is gonna go in there. Above expectations. So when I do chips, I I mentioned that I like lime, right? I think I said it maybe once or twice. The only way to go is the hint of lime. So good. It's so good. So freaking good. Okay. This needs to not be there. That one's done. And then, man, that guac is really good. How much do I want to be sharing? I don't know if I want to share that much. Oh, I stepped on the tomato and now my sock's wet. Ew. Okay, let me do it this way. Indecision. Indecision. Oh, no, the cat decided to lick up the tomato juice. That's random. Kitty, you're gross. You're gross. And then guac for me. Bloop. 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 Because I'm definitely eating all 3 of these quesadillas tonight. That was too good. And I only had a snack today. So yeah, it might be 8:30 at night, but I haven't really eaten much. And then for them, oh, making a mess. Alright, so when you're packaging up guac, there's 2 ways to do this. And I'm going to do both and let them decide from there. You reserve the pit. And you put that in there, and that's going to help prevent it from browning. Make sure it's packed in there from as much as possible. So the pit has the natural properties. I don't know the exact food size behind it. Give me a all. Alright, Calamity, thanks for stopping in. I'll check you out later. I hope the rest of work goes well. So yeah, you put the pit in there. That's going to help keep it from browning. And then the other one is you put a little thin layer of sour cream, because it's when the air hits the avocado that it oxidizes and turns brown. So if you ever come to my place and you get into the sour cream container, I guarantee there's going to be some guacamole mixed in. Because I don't get out separate spoons, and I mostly only use sour cream with guacamole. Oh, this is so filled up for them. They're going to eat good. I'll probably be good and go drop some off tomorrow so that they can have it for the weekend. But they don't live very far away, which is helpful. It's not a long drive. Some people mix the sour cream in with it. It'll still brown a little, not as much as without sour cream. But just doing the layer on top is enough to keep it from turning super brown. I know I just had the lid. I'm losing my mind. Oh, found it. Found it. Oh yeah, I packed that so full I can't even put the lid fully on. It's airtight at least. Oh, is it? Hang on. No, there's room in there. Go down. I see air pockets. I did mention that we like our guacamole, right? We don't let that go to waste. Okay. Guac. Delicious hands. Their food's all packed up, so the rest is just me. So who should we raid? Who's on right now? Because I just have to clean up, finish eating, and then I'll probably get on and do my dailies for Genshin in like an hour. Oh, is Bales on? I can raid Bales. I'm all for raiding Bales. I don't know if... Thank you. I was going to say, I don't know if Bales is in my channel for me to just jump in. So we'll call it. Thanks for hanging out. Like I said, next week we'll probably do an Alfredo. And then the week after is desserts for Christmas. Friday, I'm doing a bonus stream of Phasmophobia, which starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. So check my schedule, hang out. I'll take pictures of all this deliciousness, post it on Instagram. So if you aren't following me, please do. Please do. Oh, it's going to be delicious. It's going to be so good. So good. But hey, that's when the music ran out. So we did good. We did a good job today. We did a good job. Go us. So thank you all for hanging out again. I will see you, hopefully, later tonight. Time for Aaron to go. Hype it up for Bales.